right? And I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. Why would this be the case? Kai Cenat, the guy that was in the crowd crying to NBA YoungBoy's music. Now NBA YoungBoy's gonna take his girl? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't add up.
The first thing you hear is a phone hitting the floor, not a gentle drop, more like it slipped out of a shaking hand. A voice follows, low, furious, almost whispering through clenched teeth. Say it again, say it slowly. And that's when everything changes. Because in this story, one name is trending on Twitch, one name is feared in the rap world, and one name just crossed a line nobody thought would ever be crossed. By the end of this video, you're gonna be asking yourself, who was lying the whole time, who was playing who, and most importantly, was any of this ever about a girl at all? Picture this. Millions watching Kai Cenat live. NBA YoungBoy's name flooding chat like a glitch in the system. A girl in the middle who won't answer her phone. And a rumor so wild, so reckless, that people start saying out loud what should never be said. Kai might actually crash out, not in the way you're thinking, not with blood or sirens, but in the way careers end, friendships evaporate, loyalty gets exposed, and reputations don't survive the night. Because once that rumor drops that NBA YoungBoy allegedly slept with Kai's girlfriend in this fictional universe, it's no longer about love, it's about pride, it's about power. And it's about what happens when the internet convinces two giants they're enemies, whether they wanted to be or not. Stay with me, because the first betrayal isn't the one you think, and the most dangerous move doesn't come from either of them. The camera comes back up from that cliffhanger, the beat drops low, and the story rewinds before everything went left. Before the rumors, before the screenshots, before the word attempt even started trending next to anyone's name. This all started way quieter than you'd expect. Kai Cenat was on top of the world, streaming numbers crazy, amp buzzing, brand deals rolling in, chat calling him the future of entertainment. Every night felt like a movie and every stream felt like a victory lap. People around him said he'd been smiling different lately, calmer, focused, not just on content, but on her. A girl Kai had been keeping low-key. Not plastered all over Instagram, not in every vlog. One of those situations where if you knew, you knew. She'd pop up in the background sometimes, off-camera laughter, a hand passing him food midstream. Chat would ask, who that? And Kai would just grin and say, mind your business, gang. But behind the scenes, it was serious. According to people close to Kai, this wasn't a fling. This was someone he trusted in a world where trust is rare. Now, enter NBA YoungBoy. YoungBoy doesn't move loud on social media like that. He doesn't need to. His presence alone shakes rooms. Artists, influencers, even street legends, everybody watches his moves whether they admit it or not. At this point in time, YoungBoy was already a myth walking. Locked in with his own world, his own orbit of people, his own energy. The two weren't friends, but there was mutual awareness. Same universe, different lanes. They'd crossed paths at industry events, said what up, kept it pushing. Nothing hostile, nothing close. That's why nobody saw this coming. According to the story that later started circulating, it all began with a DM. Not to Kai, to her. It wasn't even flirty at first, just a reaction to a story. A song emoji, something light. Something easy to ignore or respond to, and she did. At first, it felt harmless. Conversations about music, life, stress, YoungBoy venting, her listening. Then the tone shifted. Compliments slipped in. Late-night messages replaced daytime replies, the kind of conversations you don't screenshot, the kind you delete. Meanwhile, Kai was grinding, streaming 6-8 hours straight. Laughing for millions while the realest thing in his life was quietly drifting. One of Kai's friends later described it like this: bro was winning everywhere except where it mattered most. The tension started small, missed calls. Short replies, energy off. Kai noticed, on one stream, chat even caught it. He was quieter than usual, snapping at jokes he'd normally laugh off. Someone typed, Kai, you good? He paused, leaned back and said, yeah, I'm straight. Just tired, but off camera, he wasn't straight. There was a night, this part comes from someone in his circle, where Kai confronted her. No yelling, no drama, just a question. Why you been moving different? She denied it at first. Said she'd just been busy, said he was tripping, and for a moment, Kai believed her. Because when you love someone, you want the lie to be true. Days later, the seed of doubt turned into a full-blown nightmare. A mutual acquaintance, someone who had nothing to gain, sent Kai a message. No explanation, just a screenshot. A DM thread, her name, YoungBoy's verified account. Kai stared at his phone for a long time. People say he didn't react right away. No yelling, no calls, just silence. The kind of silence that scares the people who know you best. When he finally spoke, it wasn't anger, it was disbelief. "That can't be real," he said. "That gotta be fake." But then came the second screenshot, then the third, locations mentioned, dates lining up. Little inside jokes only she would know. The room went cold. Kai didn't cry, he didn't punch walls. He just nodded slowly, like his brain was trying to catch up to reality. One of his friends said, "That's when I knew this wasn't gonna be regular drama, because this wasn't just cheating. This was betrayal layered with humiliation." Not only was it someone he trusted, it was someone with a name so big, so untouchable that the situation felt powerless. "How do you even process that?" Kai called her, straight to voicemail. He texted, no response. And that's when the thoughts started spiraling. Every clip of YoungBoy he'd ever seen, every lyric about loyalty, every warning he'd heard about the industry, suddenly it all felt personal. The next day, Kai went live. And chat knew instantly his energy was off, laughs forced, eyes red like he hadn't slept. Viewers spammed question marks. AMP members texted him midstream asking what was wrong. Kai brushed it off again. But then someone in chat typed a name, NBA YoungBoy. Kai froze, the room went quiet. He leaned forward, read the comment again, and his face changed. Not rage, not sadness, something darker. He smiled, a tight smile. Then he said, "Chat, y'all be making stuff up, bro." But the smile disappeared just as fast as it came. Behind the scenes, the story says Kai finally got the truth. She admitted it, not everything, but enough. She said it wasn't serious, said it didn't mean anything, said she didn't think it would blow up. That's when Kai snapped back. "Didn't think," he said, "you didn't think at all." Now here's where things start getting murky. Because depending on who you believe, this is where the situation crossed from emotional to dangerous. Some say Kai cut her off completely and isolated himself. Others say he started making calls, not industry calls. Personal ones, there were whispers of him saying things he'd never said before, talking reckless, talking hurt. One person claimed Kai said, "If I see him, it's on sight." Another person says that's cap and he was just venting. But in this era, words move faster than context. And once those words started spreading, people started adding their own spice. Suddenly, it wasn't just cheating, it was disrespect. Suddenly, it wasn't just hurt feelings. It was a situation. YoungBoy, for his part, stayed silent. No posts, no denials, no responses, and that silence made it worse. Because when someone powerful doesn't speak, the internet speaks for them. Blogs started hinting. Fans started connecting dots. Old clips resurfaced. Lyrics got dissected like evidence. Kai's name and YoungBoy's name started trending together in ways nobody expected. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise, the story twisted into something darker. Not just heartbreak, but revenge. By the time the rumor about Kai trying to do something crazy hit the timeline, it didn't sound impossible anymore. It sounded like the kind of thing that happens when pain meets pride in a spotlight that never turns off. Because what happened next, that's when the internet went from gossip to panic. And when Kai's fans realized this wasn't just streamer drama anymore, the moment those rumors hit, everything sped up. It didn't happen all at once. It was like a domino effect. One tweet turned into a thread. One thread turned into a live stream clip. Then somebody slapped dramatic music on it, added a red circle, and suddenly the narrative was no longer about heartbreak. It was about danger. Fans started picking sides instantly. Kai's supporters were in full defense mode. "He's hurt," they said. "Y'all pushing him to crash out." Others weren't as sympathetic. "Fame don't excuse crazy behavior," one viral tweet read, racking up tens of thousands of likes in minutes. And then there were the YoungBoy fans. They weren't worried at all. They laughed it off, posted memes, said things like, "YB ain't worried about no streamer and this ain't even his league." That tone alone poured gasoline on the fire. Behind the scenes, Kai's circle was scrambling. People close to him started pulling him aside. One friend reportedly told him, "Bro, you gotta chill. This internet stuff don't end well." Another allegedly took his phone at one point, trying to stop him from responding to comments that were clearly meant to provoke him. Because Kai was reading everything, every joke, every disrespectful post, every Kai comment, every clip of YoungBoy lyrics being posted with captions like "This sound familiar?" And the thing about Kai is he reacts in real time. His audience is used to seeing his emotions live unfiltered. So when he went live again, the tension was suffocating. He didn't address it directly, but he didn't have to. Someone in chat typed, "Stay safe, Kai." Another typed, "Don't crash out over her." His jaw tightened. Chat be weird, he muttered. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Then someone else typed, if it was me, I wouldn't let that slide. Kai stopped reading. Silence. The stream continued, but it felt like watching someone pretend everything was normal while a storm raged inside them. Clips from that stream went viral within hours. People slowed down his facial expressions, zoomed in on his eyes, captioned it with things like, "This man is not okay." At the same time, alleged insiders started talking. One claimed Kai had been asking questions. Not reckless ones, but specific ones, who had seen YoungBoy recently, who knew where he'd been, who was around. Another insider quickly jumped in to shut that down, saying, nah, that's being twisted, he was just venting. People are blowing it out of proportion. But the damage was done. The phrase, Kai might do something stupid, started floating around, and then came the family reactions. Someone claiming to be close to Kai's family went on a small podcast and said, they're worried, this isn't just internet drama anymore, he's under a lot of pressure and people forget he's still human. That clip spread fast. On the flip side, people connected to YoungBoy's camp allegedly laughed it off. One quote attributed to someone close to him read, YB got real problems, this ain't one. That dismissive attitude, it didn't calm anything down. If anything, it made Kai's fans angrier. Why disrespect him like that? One fan wrote, just because he's a streamer don't mean he's soft. AMP members started subtweeting, nothing direct. Just cryptic lines like loyalty over everything and industry be fake. Those posts got dissected like evidence in a courtroom. Was that about her? About YoungBoy? About the whole situation? Then came the call. This is where accounts start to differ. Some say Kai finally confronted YoungBoy directly, others say it was through intermediaries. Either way, the story goes that words were exchanged, not threats, but tension. Oh, why would you do that? Met with a, I didn't owe you nothing. If that conversation happened the way people claim, it explains why things escalated emotionally. Because there's nothing more infuriating than feeling disrespected and dismissed at the same time. After that, Kai went quiet. No streams, no tweets, no posts, and silence once again made things worse. Fans started speculating wildly. Some said he was cooling off, others said he was planning something. The most extreme voices started saying this could end bad. Blogs picked up the story and ran with the most dramatic version possible. Headlines used words like feud, retaliation, and dangerous spiral, even while adding tiny disclaimers like allegedly and for entertainment purposes. People didn't read the disclaimers. They read the headline. Meanwhile, YoungBoy remained silent publicly. No response, no denial, no acknowledgement, and in internet culture, silence is seen as dominance, which made Kai look like the one unraveling. That perception hit hard. One viral comment summed it up. He already lost her. Don't let him lose himself too. Even some of Kai's own fans started urging him to step back. Bro, we love you. Don't let this be the reason your story changes. But then came the video. A short clip leaked. Low quality, shaky, Kai in a car talking emotionally, not threatening, but intense. At one point he allegedly said, people think this is a game, I'm not playing. That single line changed everything. The clip spread everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, reaction channels. People interpreted it in the worst possible way. Suddenly the narrative shifted from hurt streamer to possible crash out. And that's when things crossed into dangerous territory, not in reality, but in perception. Because perception controls the internet. Lawyers reportedly got involved behind the scenes. Friends urged both sides to cool it. Messages were sent saying, let this die. But it wouldn't, because right when it felt like the situation might fade, someone dropped a bomb that nobody saw coming. A revelation that flipped the entire story on its head, and made people question if Kai was ever the villain at all. Right when everyone thought they had the story figured out, the internet glitched. It started with a post that didn't look important at first. No big blog, no verified badge. Just a burner account on Twitter, a username nobody recognized, dropping a thread at 2:17 a.m. The first tweet read, y'all blaming the wrong person, and y'all don't even know the half. People scrolled past it. Then the screenshots hit, not DMs between her and YoungBoy, something else. Messages between her and someone close to Kai, real close. The replies exploded instantly. Now this fake, this AI, clout chasing, but then more screenshots dropped, timestamps, voice notes transcribed, inside jokes that only people in that inner circle would know. The narrative cracked. According to this new version of events, she hadn't just drifted away. She'd been talking to multiple people at the same time. and one of them, allegedly, was feeding information to YoungBoy's side before anything ever became public. If true, this meant Kai wasn't blindsided once. He was surrounded. Fans went back and rewatched old streams with new eyes. Moments that once felt normal now felt strange. A friend cutting Kai off mid-sentence. Someone laughing awkwardly when her name came up. Small things, but in hindsight they felt loud. Then came the audio clip. A distorted voice note leaked to a gossip page. The page claimed they verified the source but couldn't reveal how. In the clip, a woman's voice said, "He don't even know yet. When he finds out, it's gonna be crazy." That line alone sent chills through the internet. Was it about Kai? Was it about YoungBoy? Or was it about something bigger? Suddenly, the story wasn't about one betrayal. It was about manipulation. Another insider came forward, saying the situation had been brewing long before the screenshots Kai saw. That people around him had noticed red flags but didn't speak up, either out of fear, loyalty confusion, or simply not wanting to be involved. And that's when the conversation shifted. People started asking, was Kai pushed to the edge on purpose? A popular reaction streamer summed it up best: if even half of this is true, bro wasn't crashing out, he was reacting. That line went viral. Even critics paused, then another twist dropped. A quiet source claimed YoungBoy didn't even know she was Kai's girlfriend at first, that the situation was misrepresented to him, that he was told it was complicated, not serious, or already over. If that's true, it reframes everything. Instead of a deliberate act of disrespect, it becomes a messy collision of half-truths and bad communication. And suddenly, YoungBoy's silence didn't look cocky, it looked cautious. Because what do you say when every version of the story makes you look bad to someone? At the same time, Kai broke his silence. Not with anger, with clarity. He posted a short message, no names, no accusations. Y'all running with stories that ain't even close. I've been quiet for a reason. Some of y'all gonna feel dumb real soon. That post did numbers. Fans froze, ops paused, blogs deleted old tweets. Because when someone finally speaks calmly after chaos, it usually means they know something others don't. Behind the scenes, sources said Kai had receipts, not just screenshots, full timelines, context. Proof that the story being pushed online wasn't accurate, and here's the real twist. According to multiple accounts, there was never any real plan to hurt anyone. The trying to kill narrative, pure internet exaggeration. A phrase taken out of context, a joke said in frustration, a dramatic caption slapped on by someone chasing views. What Kai was actually dealing with was betrayal stacked on betrayal, by someone he loved and by people he trusted to protect him. And that changes everything, because now the question isn't did Kai go too far, it's who let it get this far. One AMP affiliate allegedly said, the internet wanted a villain so bad they forgot this is real life. And that's when fans started turning on the blogs. Y'all almost ruined a man over clicks. Y'all took pain and turned it into entertainment. Ironically, the same people who fueled the fire now wanted accountability. YoungBoy fans, too, began to shift. Some admitted maybe the situation wasn't as one-sided as they thought. Others doubled down, saying none of it mattered. But the damage was already done. Relationships were strained, trust was broken. And the internet had already decided its versions of the truth. The wildest part, the girl at the center of it all went silent. No statements, no posts, no defense, and that silence spoke louder than any screenshot ever could. People started asking the one question nobody had asked before. What if this whole situation wasn't about Kai versus YoungBoy at all? What if they were both just characters in someone else's game? By the time that realization hit, the story had flipped completely. Kai no longer looked like a man spiraling, he looked like someone who survived a setup. And YoungBoy, still silent, still unreadable, which only deepened the mystery. Because if both sides are holding their cards close, then this story isn't over. It's just entering its most dangerous chapter yet. After that twist hit, the internet didn't calm down. It split, right down the middle. On one side, you had people apologizing in real time, deleting old tweets, posting things like, I jumped to conclusions, and we don't really know these people. On the other side, you had folks refusing to let go of the original narrative. Too much smoke for no fire, they said, something's still off. And that's the thing about viral stories. Once a version of events gets planted in people's heads, it doesn't matter how many facts come later. The damage already has momentum. Kai finally returned to streaming. And the moment the notification went out, the internet froze. Viewers flooded in by the tens of thousands, chat moving so fast it was unreadable. Mods working overtime, everyone waiting for him to say something, anything. He started the stream like nothing happened, jokes, music, a little dancing. Then he stopped, sat back, exhaled. Chat, he said calmly, I ain't gonna explain myself to people who already decided who I am. That was it. No names, no details, no breakdown. But that one sentence said more than a 20-minute rant ever could. People could see it in his face. He was tired, not angry, not hurt in a dramatic way, just exhausted from carrying something that never should have been public in the first place. He went on to say, I learned who really rock with me. That's all I needed. Then he changed the subject. That move alone shifted the power, because refusing to feed drama in a space that survives off drama is the ultimate flex. Behind the scenes, though, things weren't magically fixed. Sources say Kai cut a lot of people off. Quietly, no announcements, no subtweets, just distance. The kind of distance you create when you realize access to you is a privilege, not a right. AMP reportedly had serious conversations about boundaries, about protecting each other, about how fast narratives can spiral when everyone's lives are content. One insider said this was a wake-up call for everybody. Meanwhile, YoungBoy continued doing what he's always done, moving in silence. No interviews, no cryptic captions, no diss tracks, no sneak disses, and somehow that silence turned into the loudest statement of all. Some people interpreted it as guilt, others as maturity, others as simply not caring. The truth, nobody knows, and that uncertainty keeps the story alive. What did change, though, was the tone. The blogs softened. Reaction channels started adding more disclaimers. Allegedly came back into fashion. People became more careful with words like attempt and threat, because once the dust settled, it became clear how dangerous unchecked storytelling can be, especially when it involves real people. The girl at the center of it all remained off the grid. No redemption arc, no explanation, just gone. Some say that was intentional. Others say she couldn't handle the heat. Either way, her absence left a permanent question mark over the entire situation. Was she protecting herself or avoiding accountability? That debate still rages in comment sections to this day. As for Kai, he moved forward, but not unchanged. Fans noticed he became more guarded, less personal, more focused on business, less willing to share parts of his private life. One fan tweeted, "We watched him grow up online." This might be the moment he really grew up, and that hit hard, because sometimes the biggest loss isn't a relationship, it's innocence. The belief that success shields you from betrayal. It doesn't. YoungBoy's world, meanwhile, stayed exactly the same. Tour, music, loyal fans, the machine kept moving. But even his supporters admitted something felt different. This time, there was no victory lap. No I told you so, just silence and distance. And maybe that's the real fallout. Not a winner, not a loser, just scars. The internet eventually moved on like it always does. New drama, new villain, new headline. But this story didn't disappear. It lingered. Because it sat at the intersection of fame, trust, ego, and the internet's obsession with watching people fall apart in real time. To this day, there are still unanswered questions. What really happened behind closed doors? Who knew what and when? Was it all a misunderstanding or a perfectly executed mess? And the scariest question of all, how close did this come to going somewhere it couldn't come back from? Because if there's one thing this situation proved, it's that narratives can almost become reality if enough people repeat them. And sometimes, surviving the story is the hardest part. The tension never truly resolved, it just went quiet. And quiet doesn't always mean peace. And that's where the story sits right now, not wrapped up, not confirmed, not forgotten. What started as a quiet relationship turned into one of the most chaotic internet narratives we've seen, where a few screenshots, some silence, and a whole lot of assumptions almost rewrote real lives in real time. You saw how fast heartbreak turned into headlines, how pain got mistaken for rage, how the internet took an emotional situation and stretched it into something way darker than it ever needed to be. And the wild part? We still don't have the full truth. Was Kai just a man hurt and betrayed, trying to process everything while the world watched? Was YoungBoy really aware of the full situation, or was he operating off a version of events that wasn't real? And what role did the people behind the scenes play in letting this spiral as far as it did? Those questions are still hanging. That's why this story keeps people talking. Because it's not just about Kai, it's not just about YoungBoy. It's about how fast narratives form, how dangerous assumptions can be, and how the internet doesn't always wait for facts before choosing sides. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this was all blown way out of proportion? Do you believe Kai was unfairly painted as a villain, or do you think there's still something we haven't seen yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is one of those stories where every perspective adds another layer. If you made it this far, make sure you like the video. It tells the algorithm this type of deep dive drama is what you want more of. Subscribe if you're locked in, because stories like this don't end, they evolve. And trust me, if anything new drops on this situation, you already know we'll be right back here breaking it all down.